We often visit the beach to cool off, but this part of our planet is much more than a place to relax.
And we're talking two just monstrous size.
Therefore, it is no surprise that bizarre things wash up on the coastlines from time to time. Ironically, we're never prepared. From whale excreta worth thousands of dollars to dozens of sex toys, here are the 15 strangest things washed up on beaches. Number 15. Truck-sized basking shark. When the video of this huge basking shark was posted online, many thought it was edited. It looked too good to be true, so you can understand their sentiment. However, scientists confirmed that the creature measured about 26 feet long and was washed up on the coast of Bremen. Local anglers were stunned to see the beast that day. Basking sharks live in warm waters globally and are the second largest fish in the sea. The whale shark measures 60 feet or more and is the only shark species that gives it a run for its money. Despite their intimidating size, they are harmless to humans. They prefer to cruise underwater with their mouth open to grab food. It is understandable to be scared around them thanks to their size and rugged body. The basking shark can leap up to 4 feet out of the water. These filter feeders filter zooplankton and invertebrates through their complex gills. Researchers are unsure why this animal washed ashore, but it may have been involved in a tussle while on the water's surface. Baking sharks love to appear on the water surface where they bask in the sun, hence their name. Number 14. Love letters from WW1. While we appreciate all the advantages of technology, we miss the good old days when lovers exchanged letters. This form of communication created a unique bond between them. During the World Wars, lovers were conscripted into the army and were sent outside the country to fight. During those times, they communicated with their families by sending letters. Unfortunately, these documents don't get to the recipient for weird reasons. Therefore, the writers invent a more creative way to convey this message. They throw it into the sea, hoping someone finds it and delivers it to their lover. Kathleen Mullen found one of such letters near the Jersey shore. She saw a stack of 57 letters bound with a pink ribbon and washed ashore. She took them home and dried them. Upon reading them, she realized they were love letters written between Dorothy Fallon and Lynn Farnham between 1942 and 1947 while he was in the military. It is unclear where the letters came from, but they washed ashore. Through online research, she located the couple's niece. Dorothy and Lynn got married after the war and had 2 children. Lynn and their sons were dead, but Dorothy was in a nursing home in New Jersey. Returning those letters was a relief as she reminisced about those times she was in love. Number 13. Harley-Davidson bike. Natural disasters often result in damages worth millions of dollars. Homes are shattered, lives are lost, and valuables are brought down within minutes. The victims of this catastrophe suffer from the effects for months and even years. They build their lives from scratch during this period, except the government gives them something tangible. It is worse to lose a loved one because, unlike material possessions, you cannot get them back. That's why he was unbothered when Ikuo Yokoyama lost his favorite bike to the devastating 2011 tsunami. He was more concerned about his 3 family members that died. If he could get them back, nothing else mattered. Of course, wishes are not horses. 1 year later, his motorcycle washed up ashore over 3,000 miles away. Peter Marks stumbled on the storage unit while exploring a breach on Graham Island. The bike was already rusty and almost lost its form. When the news of the discovery went public, a Harley-Davidson representative in Japan tracked Yokoyama and offered to pay for the motorcycle to be transported to him and repaired. He obliged and got it back weeks later. It was the only thing left after the devastating tsunami, so he cherished it. Number 12. St. Augustine monster. The world's ocean is home to some of the strangest creatures on our planet. You think you've seen it all until you find another that gives you a reason to believe in aliens. Apparently, researchers are used to these sightings and wish they bumped in on them during their expedition. One such strange sea creature that leaves everyone talking is the St. Augustine monster. It is one of the earliest examples of a globster. This animal mass is a regular visitor to seashores, giving cryptozoologists reason to believe they are monsters. The creature in this clip is large and shapeless. It was discovered by some young boys playing on Anastasia Island in Florida in November 1896. Upon seeing it, they assumed it was a whale since whale sightings are common. They were still curious as they noticed some differences in appearance. They sent it to Dr. Whit Webb, the founder of the St. Augustine Historical Society and Institute of Science. He concluded that it was a giant octopus. However, he was not convinced about his judgment, so he sent it to the Smithsonian to give their verdict. The first test showed it was an octopus, while the second one proved it was a whale. The results of the tests depended on how the test was run. The back and forth did not help, but researchers continued to explore available means. In 2004, scientists released an official statement confirming that the monster was a whale. It probably lost its form so much that it wasn't easily identified. The boys were right after all. Number 11, stranded orca. The world's ocean is home to several marine creatures, some prey and others predators. Predators are capable of hunting their meals and living independently. Only in rare situations do they need help. Orcas are one of those fierce predators of the deep. Also called toothed whales, they are the largest dolphins in the world. Scientists call them the most powerful predators in the ocean. Divers encountering them are often scared for their lives thanks to their size. While it is rare to find a stranded orca, one fisherman found one in 2021. The Good Samaritan visited the beach on the coast of British Columbia when he spotted a 20-foot orca stranded among the rocks. He thought it was dead, but when he drew nearer, he realized it was alive and stranded. Therefore, he alerted a rescue team. He feared that the animal might become prey to birds and other wild animals since it was trapped there. So he stood there to guard it while the team arrived. Locals helped wildlife officials create a human chain and pass buckets of seawater to keep the animal hydrated. It took the team of rescuers 6 hours to salvage the situation. The tide helped to wash the stranded orca back into the ocean. It is not the first case of a stranded orca in the sea. In most cases, they are rescued alive, provided they were not dead before help came. Number 10, whale excreta. Ocean waves can sweep anything thousands of miles away from its original home. It returns to the original owners in some cases, but in others, the new owners benefit from it. Either way, beachgoers are lucky to find these exciting things and share them with us. If Ken Willman didn't share this sighting with us, we'll probably never know it existed. While he and his dog strolled along the coastline, his pet noticed a smelly yellow lump on the Lancashire beach. Initially, he did not notice it, as the smell could come from anywhere. He admitted it was horrible, so he left the beach as he couldn't contain it. When he got home, he looked it up on the internet. He asked about the possible cause of the smell. Google suggested that it could be a whale excreta. He browsed the economic benefit and realized it was worth thousands of dollars. The next day, he returned to the beach to see a 66-pound pile of whale vomit worth $180,000. The waxy substance is produced in the intestines of sperm whales to protect their digestive tracts from sharp squid beaks. Despite its nickname, it is excreted rather than vomited into the ocean. Sometimes it flows in the sea for many years before washing ashore. I know you're wondering about its possible use. Well, whale excrement is highly sought after by European perfumeries because it is used as a fixer that allows the scents to stay on the skin for longer. It is also a historical ingredient in some recipes. Number 9. World War bombs. Decades after about 100 unexploded bombs were discovered beneath the sea. When locals found it, they alerted the Navy bomb disposal team who detonated them. They would have remained there longer had an abnormal tide not washed them up on Southampton Beach. Experts say there are more to come, which could be more dangerous. Therefore, it was best that locals kept their distance and reported similar sightings to the appropriate authorities. The water where these mortar shells were hiding receded to reveal them. The Navy imposed a 600-yard exclusion zone and detonated the bombs. The authorities explained that the bombs are blown up when covered in water, because this helps to absorb the shock. It was the first time they saw so many bombs at once. These explosives were unstable due to the amount of corrosion they suffered over the years. They could not confirm if these bombs were English, and whether they were fired from land or ship. Locals speculated the tides may not have had anything to do with the bombs. They say fishing nets may have pulled them up. Whatever the case, the effects of the war still hunt us in the oceans. Contact emergency services if you find something like this on your next beach trip. Number 8. Young killer whale. No sea creature is immune to natural disasters. From giant oarfish to juveniles, anyone can fall victim. A juvenile killer whale was heroically rescued in January 2021 after getting stranded on a Scottish beach. Luckily, a group of trained medics was around the area when it happened. The experts from the British Divers Marine Life Rescue helped locals with the rescue on Sanday, an island off the coast of Scotland. They examined the animal and realized it was healthy and old enough to survive independently. They got it into a special stretcher to return it to the water where it belonged. It took 8 people to lift the 11-foot-long orca into the water. When it landed there, it headed off and was never seen again. The rescue operation took only 1 hour. Strandings like these were a big deal because they were done manually. Thanks to the invention of a dolphin stretcher, these animals can be reunited with their families within minutes. This killer whale is one of many lucky animals to be found early and returned to the ocean before it is too late. It threw itself on the right side of the beach. The orca is believed to be a 3- or 4-year-old male capable of living alone under normal circumstances. Number 7. Amazon River Monster in Florida. After finding the rotting body of a dead Amazon River monster near the Gulf of Mexico, Florida residents were worried. These sightings are rare, so they wondered what may have led to it. They say the creature could be the state's latest invasive species. The monster lives in Florida and faces many hurdles as long as life in the ocean is concerned. Also called the arapaima, the Amazon River monster is the world's largest freshwater fish, capable of growing 10 feet long and weighing 440 pounds. It is a big deal and should naturally bother any right-thinking human. This animal breeds in nests on floodplains, spends valuable time and energy caring for their young, and reaches sexual maturity between 3 to 5 years old. Scientists were scared that Florida may not be favorable for these creatures. Seeing one already dead suggests that others could be hiding for fear of what would become of them. Who knows if they have a thriving population deep in the ocean? The arapaima is prized for its meat, especially in rural regions along the river. Its boneless meat, once salted, can be stored without refrigeration. Unfortunately, this makes them attractive and results in overfishing. It is often captured whenever it comes to the water's surface to gulp in the air. Number 6. Mystery sea creature. Terrifying sea creatures have washed up on Cypriot and Spanish beaches, but none compares to this. The animals, identified as beaked whales, appeared on the shores of a beach in Oleiros, Spain. A local found the 6-meter creature during a morning stroll. He called rescuers to remove it from the spot. He noted that it was the 3rd animal discovered in that condition that week. Experts were baffled as the species of beaked whales appear every 5 years. The Cypriot government commenced an investigation into how 7 of these whales mysteriously washed up dead, as nothing like that had been seen before. An eyewitness said it was difficult to say which animal it was since the body was distorted. He initially thought it was a stone until he noticed it was soft. It then occurred to him that it may be an animal or something marine. These creatures live at great distances from the coast, around 200 miles. The fact that they traveled down here dead represents a bad omen. It is the first time so many whales have been found dead. 2 incidents involving a single animal were recorded in 2021 and 2022, so the loss was bearable. Experts say this animal has an echolocation system affected by sea noise. They try to move away from the source, but in doing that, they become disoriented and rise to the water surface too rapidly, leading to decompression sickness. Number 5. Bananas. Only urban explorers expect to find strange things whenever they visit beaches. As for regular beachgoers, they want to savor nature, rest for a few hours, and go home afterward. That would have been the case on this fateful day, except the ocean had a pleasant surprise for visitors. They arrived that day to find thousands of bananas washed up on 2 Dutch North Sea islands. Reports say that at least 6 containers fell off a cargo ship during a storm. 1 burst open, and the result was a sea filled with bananas. If everyone in the locality took a bunch, much more would still be left. The shipping company announced the accident and regretted the loss. The incident occurred on Terschelling Island, 70 miles north of Amsterdam. Residents were used to things like children's toys, aluminum briefcases, and tennis shoes invading the shores. but this one was off. It was a load of sweaters 20 years ago, and today, this. Beachcombers got the news and left their homes to grab as many bananas as possible. They were unripe and needed some days to ripen, but no one cared how long that would take. It is unclear what happened to the rest of the bananas not picked up, but I guess they were taken to nearby zoos. The monkeys would be shocked at the volume of bananas they receive. Number 4. Driftwood in Washington. La Push is a small community on the northwest coast of Washington's most westerly peninsula. This part of the state boasts giant trees measuring several feet high. Therefore, driftwood sightings are common. In this case, this tree is unusually tall and big. The piece, also called driftwood, wasn't measured until much later. Experts suggest it was 5 to 10 feet wide and hundreds of feet tall. You can guess how it ended up there. Powerful winds accompanied by high tide drove it ashore. Most rivers flow through forests, and with colossal winter storms, some trees cannot withstand the force. They give in and land inside the flowing river. Many trees are toppled in the process, and some flow in the rivers for years. Others are forced to the shore to be analyzed by visitors. The first person to film the wood confessed that the winds were howling and it was raining heavily when it washed ashore. The La Push Beach is home to driftwood of all sizes that do not make it to the news. Researchers identified the tree species as the western red cedar, the signature tree of temperature rainforests. There are indications that this gigantic wooden wonder is the biggest piece of driftwood ever found. No one has debunked this claim with evidence, so we can admit it could be true. If you think otherwise, let us know in the comment section below. Number 3. Mysterious blue creature. While we ascribe the strangest discoveries to UFOs and aliens, some are hidden deep in beaches. They choose to come to land at will, and on one of such rare occasions, beachgoers capture the event. Several mysterious and alien-like creatures have been spotted on Australian beaches without explanation. One day, visitors were having a lovely time around this beach when a mysterious blue creature suddenly caused a stare. Visitors wondered about the kind of animal it was because no one had seen a thing like this. Some curious visitors went as far as picking them from the sand. Unfortunately, they did that without expert advice. They experienced severe pain in their palms afterward. It caused panic among residents as they wondered about the species of animal it was. They immediately alerted marine experts to examine the creature. They confirmed that a bluebottle, a jellyfish, washes ashore on Australian beaches during summer. Although it is not poisonous, its sting is painful. While the pain reduces or stops after 2 hours, it results in joint aches afterward. Beachgoers were advised to avoid contact with it, as the long-term effect could be more disastrous. This creature reportedly stung over 3,239 people in 2019. The best way to avoid the bluebottle jellyfish is to avoid swimming in waters with warnings about jellyfish. Number 2. U-boat. Residents of Hastings woke up one morning to a beautiful sight. They found one of Kiter's U-boats on the beach. This discovery went viral and caused thousands of visitors to see the beached submarine. Who doesn't want a glimpse of this goodness? The Admiralty took advantage of the numbers and charged a fee for people to climb on the deck. 2 Coast Guard members served as tour guides and showed visitors around the submarine. Unfortunately, the hype around the submarine subsided when the 2 Coast Guards fell ill and died shortly after. Their deaths remain a mystery to this day. As a result, visits to the submarine were stopped. Researchers discovered that the chlorine gas, which escaped from SMU-118's batteries, caused severe abscesses on the lungs and brains of the men. This submarine was commissioned on May 8, 1918, after construction at the A.G. Vulcan Stettin shipyard in Hamburg. It was commanded by Herbert Stohwasser. After hostilities ended on November 11, 1918, this vessel was surrounded by France. Following the surrender, the submarine was billed to be transported to France, where it would be broken up for scrap. In the early hours of April 15, 1919, while it was towed through the English Channel, its hawser broke off in a storm. The ship ran aground, and efforts to retrieve it proved unsuccessful. The proximity of the submarine to the public beach dissuaded the use of explosive force. Number 1. 250-year-old swivel gun. On a regular day at the beach, this teenager revealed something awkward. He found an old swivel gun on a remote Northern Territory beach. Experts say it had been lying on the seabed for nearly 250 years. These kinds of guns were unknown in Australia before Captain Cook arrived in 1770. The boy discovered the bronze cannon at Dundee Beach, southwest of Darwin. It measured 107 centimeters long and was buried in the sand during an unusually low tide. Tim Stone, an Australian scientist, was excited about the finding. He said the cannon is one of Northern Australia's most significant historical artifacts. When it was first reported, researchers guessed that it may have been from the 16th century seafarers from Portugal. Further investigations showed that sailors or mocassins likely lost their guns 250 years ago. Someone may have misplaced the weapon at the beginning of the mocassin trade during the days of exploration in search of the delicacy. Another possibility is that an Indonesian vessel could have been blown to Australian shores, and the gun was in it. Further studies are underway to discover the kind of bronze used to cast the gun. The result of the tests will help scientists learn more about its exact age.